Alrighty, so my system says we're live. I'll take it for its word. Alrighty, what is up, folks? My name is Melvin, and welcome. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you doing amazingly well. Just a quick impromptu stream. So quick, I forgot to turn on my lights. I need to be in excellent lighting so you can see all the pores on my face. Anyways, I have some stories here, and we're just gonna talk about it. As simple as that, all right? First story: Sonic creator Yuji Naka arrested for insider trading. Naka said to have brought stock in Dragon Quest developer based on inside information while at Square Enix. So, if any of you don't know what insider trading is, I'm sure most of you know, but essentially, you are getting information based on people who work in the company to buy or sell certain stocks, and that is extremely illegal. You should never, ever do that. A quick brief history on Yuji Naka. So he is the creator of Sonic. He is that's what he's known for. He's the father of Sonic. So all the classic stuff you know and love, he has had a hand in it. The 3D stuff you know and love, he has had a hand in a lot of those. And I think he quit. I forgot if he quit before Sonic 06 or after. I know he worked on Shadow the Hedgehog, and I'm pretty sure Shadow the Hedgehog was he had a really bad experience with Shadow the Hedgehog. But I think he also had a really bad experience with Sonic 06 as well. He then left Sega to work with Square Enix, and working with Square Enix was actually not that great either. So he actually he's just a lot of bad luck, you know. But let's read this article, all right? Yuji Naka, the co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog and former head of developer Sonic Team, has been arrested for insider trading in Tokyo. The news, first reported by Japanese news site FNN, has been corroborated by the, oh my man, they give me so many words I can't pronounce, Asahi Shimbun newspaper in an English language report. Naka is alleged to have bought stock in developer aiming in early 2020 based on inside information that it would be developing a Dragon Quest mobile game, Dragon Quest Tact. At the time, publisher Square Enix's partnership with aiming on the game was not yet public, and Naka was working at Square Enix on ill-fated platformer Balan Wonderworld. The Special Investigations Unit of the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office, which made the arrest, said that Naka had bought 10,000 shares in aiming for about 2.8 million yen to $20,000 after learning about Dragon Quest Tact in late January 2020. Before the announcement of the game the following month, the assumption is that he was hoping to profit from an increase in the share price after the announcement and release of the game. Although, based on current reporting, it's not clear if he did sell the shares. Naka's arrest Friday followed those of two other former Square Enix employees a day earlier on the same charges. Taisuke Sasaki and Fumihaki Suzuki are said by investigators to have bought 47 million yen or 336,000 worth of aiming stock between late 2019 and early 2020 after Suzuki learned of Dragon Quest Tact's existence in November of 2019. According to the Asahi Shimbun, Sasaki and Suzuki sold their aiming shares after the announcement of Dragon Quest Tact in February 2020, profiting to the tune of millions of yen. The paper's source also says that Sasaki was actually a member of the joint development team working on Dragon Quest Tact. Sasaki received a special thanks mention in the credits of Balan Wonderworld. Polygon has contacted Square Enix for comment in a statement issued to VGC Thursday addressing the arrest of Sasaki and Suzuki. The company said, "Today, some media outlets reported that the former employees of Square Enix were under investigation for suspected insider trading. We have been fully cooperating with the request from the Securities and Exchange Surveillance Commission. As the investigation by the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office is underway, we will continue to fully cooperate with the investigation. We deeply regret the great concern this has caused to all concerned. We have dealt with this incident strictly, including internal disciplinary actions taken against the suspected employees." Naka co-created Sega mascot Sonic the Hedgehog with artist Noto Oshima as lead programmer on the original 1991 Sonic the Hedgehog and its sequels. It was Naka's code that enabled the game's signature fast movement, fluid visuals. Naka left Sega in 2006 and spent a while as an independent developer before joining Square Enix in 2018, where he returned with Oshima to develop Balan Wonderworld. But the game's development didn't go well. Balan Wonderworld was released in March 2021 and was met with poor review scores and controversy about seizure-inducing flashing sequences. In April of 2022, Naka revealed that he had been kicked off the project 6 months before the release. Said he had sued Square Enix over his departure and apologized fans for the unfinished state of the game. And if we're gonna be honest here, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for Balan Wonderworld, I probably wouldn't even be talking about this game. I think that's what makes this story fun. It's just Yuji Naka just has not had a he has just had a bad few years, and this is just on top of that. And I'm really surprised that not many people are talking about this. I mean, again, he is the creator, the daddy of Sonic the Hedgehog, one of the most well-known, mascots of all time. And I don't know, I think just what else makes this interesting is that, we know insider trading is a thing. It happens all the time. That's how the rich gets richer. That's how it goes. But for someone we know to be arrested for it, I do think it should be a crime. It's just, it's insider trade, because they expect us, everyday people to follow the rules, to play by the rules, but then other people not playing by the rules. It's, that's what causes this discrepancy where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So unfortunately, yeah, he did break the rules. But it sucks. It sucks that someone who really did love making games get arrested. I don't know how long he'll be arrested for. I don't know how seriously they take this kind of stuff in Japan. So we'll take a look at it and just see what happens from there. Take it one step at a time. Alrighty, I guess let's go on to the next thing. So for some reason, I actually did not even know that a new Pokemon game came out. I don't really follow Pokemon. I don't play it, so that's definitely the reason. But I just had no idea. And it looks like people aren't too happy with it, and I think I know why. But I'm gonna read a review and just kind of see. I just picked a random review. I don't really care. But I just kind of want to see what the game's all about. What people aren't liking from it. I kind of want to get some sort of eye into it, because it's like, I don't want to not like Pokemon, but yeah, like it's actually really surprising that they've kept up a consistent fan base for years, because other RPGs have come out and have done a way better job. But for some reason, Pokemon has just kept a large audience, throughout the years. It's not something that's just for kids anymore. A lot of adults really, really enjoy Pokemon. So I'm just kind of curious as to why it hasn't, what is the name of the company? Whatever the name of the company is, just can't seem to let the franchise evolve. It wants for a franchise with so much potential, and I'm saying that knowing that they've already explored so many different avenues with the Pokemon franchise. A franchise with so much potential, they keep that bottled up knowingly, because they have to release something every single year or every other year, however much often. So profit is kind of killing its creative vision, its creative freedom. So let's take a look at that. For all of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet stumbles in their attempts to usher the series into a new chapter, the most glaring among them is that a more convincing, ultimately superior blueprint was already laid for the series future 10 months ago with the release of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Arceus was dead set on making the world of Pokemon as compelling to explore in a mechanical sense as the series has always felt thematically. To do so, it deployed fluid, traversal, and action-driven battle systems, and it shaped up into one of the most exciting experiences the series has yet to offer. Scarlet and Violet, on the other hand, go out of their way to make the modern day Paldea region feel more lived in and filled to the brim with stuff to do, but the actual doing of those things never quite sings the way it did for the Legends Arceus. So I feel like that part right there just kind of says what, you know, kind of says what needs to be said. That despite the team knowing that they have something great, that they have an amazing franchise that they can do so much with, they just choose not to. And that's unfortunate, you know? Um like I said, I don't want to hate the franchise, but there's really nothing compelling me to buy or play their games because I already know what I'm getting myself into before playing it. And that's not a bad thing because there's a tons of games I play with that same idea in mind. I already know what I'm getting myself into, but it does it in a way where it's just I'm not compelled to keep going because there's just no surprises, you know. And that's just what it seems like. It seems like they released a game with no surprises, you know. And again, it's funny that in a review about the new game, they're talking about how the old one's better. You know, isn't that kind of funny? Isn't that kind of crazy? I don't know. That's just something I have to say. But then the final thing, I just want to talk about Wakanda Forever, just because I saw it in theaters. I didn't think I was gonna like the movie as much as I did. I don't watch a lot of Marvel. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that because I do watch them when I'm invited to watch them, but I'll never go out of my way to watch it. I'll just never be that big. Actually, funny enough, I actually haven't seen the first Black Panther, so there were some story points where it's just like I didn't understand it too much, but I did end up enjoying it more than I did. These scores, I'm never going to agree. Like with Marvel movies, I'll just never agree with these scores. I'll give it more like a 50%. It kept my attention all the way through, but man, 2 hours and 41 minutes. We do not need every single Marvel movie to be that long. It is insane. I wish I could like find out. I don't know. Like if I type in Marvel, will I get? It'll just tell me the names of the shows. It won't like. Man, it's just crazy though because they're way too long, and I felt it. I felt you're never supposed to feel the wrong time, but I did. And the thing was that the first act of the movie actually had a great length. It really did. It kept going. But then it just slowed to a crawl. You were just hiking the top of the mountain when you just really wanted to stop. It was insane. But what did I like about the movie? So I think what Marvel does best is when they are not centered around a very important character. Like I saw the Thor movie, I saw Thor: Love and Thunder. It was fine, but I think it would have been I think it would have been better not as a Thor movie, as something completely different. And I think that's when I think that's what I liked about Thor Ragnarok was just it didn't really feel like a Thor movie. It felt like something completely different. But that's the problem being owned by Disney is that Disney doesn't really do that. They don't really sway away, you know? They want to keep as many movies as consistent as possible. They want something repeatable, something done all the time, just over and over and over again. And I felt that. There was a lot of moments in this movie that had that, but I feel like the first act didn't. And that might have had to just done with the original Black Panther passing away suddenly, so they kind of had to change the script a little bit, move things around. But I think the things that stayed the same were the parts I didn't like. So when they had to go and meet the villain of the movie, it felt by the numbers. Actually, so in the movie they're fighting like this species of underwater creatures that are like part human, part not. That world was one of the most boring worlds I have ever seen in my life. It's so boring. How do you make an underwater town boring? So many things were in the dark. So it's like, why with Marvel, if they have so much money, if every time they release a movie in theaters, it makes some sort of profit, Even with a pandemic still going on, they're still making profit. And yet they are cutting corners. There were so many times in this movie that they had to do the CGI in the dark. The reason why, so for those of you who don't know, when they film something in the dark for CGI purposes, it's to save money. It's to cut corners. It's so that you don't focus on the details. So there's just so many scenes done in the dark that I just hated. The plot is utter garbage. It's really bad. You have to really try to like you have to really try to like subvert your expectations the plot's bad. It's just it makes no sense. So I'm trying to give examples without spoiling it, but in terms of defeating their enemies, Wakanda, in terms of Wakanda defeating their enemies, they could have done it in so many ways that could have just killed them off instantly, and just refused to. They just didn't do that. There were so many ways. They were fighting in a war. That's kind of that's the only as much spoiler as I want to give. They're fighting a war without trying to kill the other person. That makes no sense at all. I don't understand. They had so many ways to kill them, and they just didn't kill them. It's kind of crazy. I just don't understand. But what do I like about it? I like the characters. I think there's a lot of characters with room to grow, room to evolve. I like characters like that, and I think that's why people like Spider-Man so much, and that's why I liked all the Spider-Man movies that have come out under this new Marvel umbrella. I like it because yeah, the main characters do have room to grow, room to evolve, room to be something different than what we've seen before. And I think with Wakanda, it is something different. I do like the world, actually. I like the world a lot. It's such a nice, different perspective, something we haven't seen. It's full of interesting characters that are just really good at like being those characters. All the actors are phenomenal. They do a really good job with what they're given. The action scenes, of course, I don't like the action scenes. They're actually pretty bad. I actually liked it when there wasn't much action scenes. I kind of just liked it when they talked more. I liked it when they talked, but not in a serious manner. Even though the actors are really good and they do a good job being like serious when it needs to be, emotional when it needs to be, it's just the plot falls. It's I don't like it when it's serious. I like it when it's more campy, a little bit corny, stuff like that. Of course, it's Marvel. Marvel's gonna have a lot of like just bad jokes in it and stuff like that. But all that stuff. So that's kind of why I gave it like for me, I give most Marvel movies kind of around like either a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10. Not many Marvel movies have gone up there. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. If you like the movie, great. If you didn't like it, that's fine too. You're allowed to like movies. You're allowed to dislike them. That's just really my opinions on it all. But yeah, I just felt like talking about those kind of things today. And that's really all I got to say. All right. That's short, sweet, and simple. All right. Thank you so much, folks, for listening. All right. You have a great rest of your day. Try to get out there. All right.